I walked in through the front door and my dog, Cooper, brought me a bra, a pink lace bra with the tag still torn off, and it was warm, as if it had just come off someone's body on undergarment that wasn't mine. That size wasn't mine with the sweet, cheap, sugary perfume scent. I stood there, frozen, holding that thing in my hand, while I heard the shower running upstairs and my fiancé singing, really singing in the shower as if nothing was wrong, as if his world wasn't going to explode in 30 seconds because Cooper, my golden retriever, my sweet 3-year-old baby, was wagging his tail proudly, as if he had brought me the best gift in the world. And there I was, thinking, what is this? Where did this come from? And then it hit me like a punch in the stomach. This isn't mine. I'm sorry. I need to stop for a second because my hands are trembling just thinking about this moment. Just remembering what happened next. Okay, I'm fine. Let me breathe and tell you everything from the beginning, because you're going to doubt how it all happened. How a stupid business trip that was canceled turned into the worst day of my life, and somehow also the best, because it freed me from a liar. Someone who was living a double life right under my nose, and I had no idea. None at all. Until Cooper, my dog, my hero, brought me that pink bra. So, my name is Emily. Well, that's not my real name. Obviously, I'm changing the names for this story. But I'm 32 years old, and this happened to me in March of last year, 2024. I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank God, I don't live there anymore. I moved after everything happened. At that time, I lived in a cozy little house in the suburbs with my fiancé. Derek Kyle changed his name too, but his real name is very similar to that. Anyone who lives there knows the story. We had been together for 5 years, engaged for almost a year, and our wedding was supposed to be at the end of May, 2 months after it happened. 2 months. We had everything planned. The venue booked at a beautiful place called Riverside Gardens. All the invitations sent. My dress was already in the closet, well wrapped so he wouldn't see it. Of course, they say it's bad luck for the groom to see the dress beforehand. My bridesmaids were also confirmed. We had a photographer, DJ, catering, everything. About 70% of the people had already confirmed their attendance, including my aunt, who was coming from France, from Paris. She had already bought the plane tickets. She was so excited for me that she wouldn't stop calling me, and she would send me messages saying how happy she was that I had found love, and I just smiled and thought, yes, I'm so lucky. I found my person. Derek is perfect. We're going to have an amazing life together. My God, I was so silly, so blind. I feel so stupid now with all this, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about Derek first so you understand who this man was, or who I thought he was. Because looking back now, I can see all the warning signs, but at the time, I thought he was everything I ever wanted. We met in 2019 at a coffee shop, a cliche, right? I worked as a legal assistant at Morrison Law Group and used to stop by this coffee shop every morning before work. One day, Derek was there, in line behind me, and made a joke about my order, which was the most complicated drink he'd ever heard. A large iced caramel macchiato with extra caramel oat milk and 2 shots of vanilla. He said something like, "Wow, you really know what you want." I laughed. We started talking, and that's how it all began. He asked for my number. We went on a date that weekend, and I thought, wow, this guy is funny, charming, and handsome. He's bold because nobody commented on my request, but he noticed me and said something, and he even has a good job. He worked in sales at Summit Tech Solutions, earned well, was ambitious, and wanted to build a life. In other words, an interesting partner to try something serious with. He talked about wanting a family someday, wanting to buy a house, all the things I wanted to. He wasn't perfect, nobody is, but he was good to me, or at least I thought he was good to me. He would bring me flowers sometimes. He remembered my birthday. He got along with my family. My mom loved him. My dad loved him. My friends all thought we were this perfect couple, and I believed it. I really believed we were meant to be together. We moved in together after about 2 years of dating. Got this house in Charlotte. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a little backyard, and I loved it. I loved making it ours, decorating it, planning our future there. And then about a year after we moved in together, Derek proposed. It was at this restaurant we went to on our first date. He got down on one knee and I cried. I actually cried because I was so happy. The ring was beautiful. It was a princess-cut diamond with a white gold band, and I wore it every single day. I never took it off. I would look at it and smile and think, I'm getting married. I'm going to be a wife. This is really happening. And then we got Cooper. We got him about 6 months before all this happened. Derek said he wanted a dog. He grew up with golden retrievers, and he missed having one, so we went to a breeder and we picked Cooper out of the litter. He was this tiny little ball of fur, and he was perfect. He was the sweetest dog, so friendly, so loving. He loved everyone. He would wag his tail at strangers. He would jump on people when they came over because he was just so excited to see them. He never met anyone he didn't like, and Derek loved him. He would play with Cooper every day, throw the ball for him in the backyard, take him on walks, and I loved watching them together. I thought, this is what our life is going to be like. We're going to have a dog and then maybe someday kids, and we're going to be this happy little family. But here's the thing about Cooper that I didn't realize until later. He was really, really smart, like scary smart. He could learn tricks in like 2 tries. He understood everything we said to him. And he had this weird thing where he would bring us stuff. Like he thought he was being helpful. He would bring us his toy. He would bring us the mail when it came through the slot in the door. He would bring us random things he found around the house. And we thought it was cute. We thought it was fun. And why? Like, oh, Cooper's bringing us presents. But what I didn't know was that Cooper was about to bring me the one present that would change everything. Okay, so now let me tell you about the trip. The business trip that got canceled and how I ended up coming home early and catching everything. This is where it all starts to go bad. This is where my whole life fell apart. So I worked as a paralegal, like I said, and my firm Morrison Law Group was sending me to this conference in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a 3-day conference about legal technology and new software we could use in the office. It was supposed to be from Wednesday to Friday. I was supposed to leave Wednesday morning and come back Friday night. And Derek knew about this. I told him weeks in advance. I had it on the calendar. He knew I was going to be gone. And honestly, I was kind of excited about it. And not because I wanted to be away from him, but because it was nice to get out of the office. It was nice to go to a hotel and have the company pay for everything. I was going to get overtime for the trip to. They were paying me for all the hours I was there plus expenses. So financially, it was good for us. We were saving for the wedding, and this was extra money we could put toward that. So Wednesday morning, I wake up at like 5 a.m. because my flight is at 8 and I need to get to the airport by 6. I shower, I get dressed, I pack my little carry-on bag. Derek is still asleep. I kiss him goodbye. I tell him I love him. I'll call you tonight, and I head out. I drive to the airport. I park. I go through security. I'm sitting at the gate, waiting for my flight, and then they make an announcement. They say the flight is delayed due to mechanical issues. Okay, fine. I've dealt with delays before. I sit there for another hour. They make another announcement. They say the flight is canceled. They're so sorry. They're going to put everyone on the next available flight, which isn't until tomorrow morning, Thursday. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm supposed to be at this conference today. I call my boss. I explain the situation. She says, okay, don't worry about it. The conference doesn't really start until Thursday afternoon anyway. The first day is just registration and networking. You're not missing anything important. We'll just book you on the Thursday morning flight, and you can still make the important sessions Thursday and Friday. And then she says, actually, you know what? Since you already took the day off and you're getting paid overtime for this trip, we're still going to pay you for today, Wednesday, even though you're not going. Consider it a paid day off. We'll rebook your flight and your hotel for Thursday and Friday, and you'll still get the full overtime. Okay? I'm like, okay, great. So I leave the airport, I drive back home, and I'm thinking, you know what? This is actually kind of nice. I have a random day off in the middle of the week. Derek is at work. I can just relax, maybe clean the house, watch TV, take Cooper for a walk. It's fine. Everything's fine. So I get home. It's about 10:30 in the morning. I pull into the driveway. I notice Derek's car is there, which is weird because he should be at work by now. He usually leaves around 8 and it's 10:30, but I think, okay, maybe he's working from home today. Maybe he had a late start, whatever. I grab my bag, I unlock the front door, I walk in, and the first thing I see is Cooper running up to me, so excited, tail wagging, jumping on me, and he's got something in his mouth. He's carrying own thing, and he drops it at my feet like he does with his toys. And I look down, and it's a bra. It's a pink lace bra, not like a sports bra, like a real bra with underwire and lace trim, and it's a nice bra. It looks expensive, and the tags are ripped off, so someone's been wearing it. And I pick it up, and I'm confused. I'm so confused because I don't own this bra. I know every bra I own, and this is not mine. I don't wear pink. I don't really like pink. I think it's kind of tacky on me. Sorry if you like pink. I'm not judging you, but it's just not my color. I wear black brass, beige brass, sometimes white, but never pink. And this bra is not just pink. It's like hot pink, like almost neon pink with black lace on the edges, and it's a size large. I wear a medium. I've always worn a medium, so this is definitely not mine. And I'm standing there holding this bra, and I can feel that it's warm. It's not cold like it's been sitting somewhere for a while. It's warm like it just came off someone's beat. Oh dear, and I can smell perfume on it. This sweet, flowery perfume that I don't wear. I wear something more clean and fresh. This smells cheap. It smells like something you buy at Target or Bath and Body Works. No offense to those stores, but you know what I mean. It's not my scent. And Cooper is just sitting there wagging his tail, looking so proud of himself, like he brought me the best thing ever. And I'm like, where did you get this, boy? Where did this come from? And then I hear it. I hear the show. Running upstairs, I hear water running, and I hear Derek. I hear him singing. He's singing some song I don't even recognize. And I'm like, okay, so Derek is home. Derek is in the shower, and Cooper just brought me a bra that isn't mine. A warm bra, a bra with perfume on it. And I feel this sick feeling in my stomach. You know that feeling when you know something is really, really wrong, but you don't want to believe it yet. You don't want to jump to conclusions, but your body knows, your gut knows. And I just stand there frozen for a second, trying to process what's happening. Sorry, I need to drink some water real quick. My throat is getting dry talking about this. Okay, I'm back. So I'm standing there holding this bra, and I'm trying to think logically. I'm trying to come up with some explanation that isn't what I think it is. Maybe it's a friend's bra. Maybe someone left it here after a party, but we haven't had a party in months. Maybe it's from when my sister visited, but my sister is tiny. She's like a size small. This is a large. Maybe Derek ordered it for me as a surprise, like a gift. But why would he order me a bra that's the wrong size and the wrong color? Nothing makes sense. And then I think, okay, just go upstairs. Just ask him. Just see what he says. there has to be an explanation. So I put the bra on the kitchen counter. I tell Cooper to stay. Good boy, stay here. And I walk upstairs. I'm walking slow because I don't know what I'm about to find. I don't know what I'm going to see. And I get to the top of the stairs and I can hear the shower still are running in our bathroom, the master bathroom. And I walk toward our bedroom and the door's closed, which is weird because we never close the bedroom door during the day. And I open it. I push the door open and I look in and the room looks normal. The bed is made. Everything looks fine. But then I look closer and I see there's clothes on the floor. There's women's clothes on the floor. There's a pair of jeans that aren't mine. They're like a size 10 or 12 and I'm a size 6. And there's a shirt that I've never seen before. It's a pink t-shirt with some logo on it. And there's shoes by the bed. Women's shoes. Black flats that aren't mine. And my heart is pounding now. My heart is racing and I can't breathe and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is real. This is actually happening. Someone else is here. There's another woman here. In my house. In my bedroom. And Derek is in the shower. He must have told her to hide or something when he heard me come in. Or maybe he didn't hear him. Maybe he thinks I'm still at the airport. And I'm just standing there trying to decide what to do. Do I open the bathroom door and confront him right now? Do I look around for whoever this woman is? And then I hear a sound. I hear a noise coming from the other side of the room, from the direction of the guest bedroom. And Cooper is there too. He ran up the stairs after me and he's running toward the guest bedroom and he's barking. He's barking really loud, which is so weird because Cooper our barks. He's the quietest dog. He barely ever makes a sound. But he's barking and scratching at the guest bedroom door. And I walk over there. I open the door and I look inside. And at first, I don't see anything. The room looks empty. But Cooper runs in and he goes straight to the closet. He's barking at the closet. And I walk over. I open the closet door. And there she is. There's a woman in my guest bedroom closet. She's sitting on the floor. She's squeezed herself in between the hanging cloth. And she's trying to hide behind some bags of laundry, like actual bags full of dirty clothes we were supposed to wash. And she's just sitting there on the floor looking up at me with this terrified expression, and she's not wearing a shirt. She's just wearing jeans and she has her hands covering her chest, covering her boobs, and we just stare at each other for like 5 seconds. Neither of us says anything. And then she says, please don't freak out. And I'm like, don't freak out. You're in my house. You're half naked in my closet. And she starts crying. She actually starts crying and she says, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were coming home. He said you were going to be gone all week. And I'm like, who are you? Who the hell are you? And she says, I'm Melissa. I'm Derek's cousin. And my brain just stops working for a second because did she just say cousin? And I'm like, what? And she says, I'm his cousin Melissa from Raleigh. I came to visit. I'm staying here for a fee. days. I'm taking classes at the university here and I needed a place to stay. Derek said I could crash here while you were gone. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. Why are you hiding in the closet? Why is your bra on the floor? Why is Derek in the shower in the middle of the day? And she just keeps saying, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And then I hear the shower turn off. I hear the water stop. And I turn around and I run back to my bedroom. I push open the bathroom door and Derek is standing there with a towel around his waist. He's drying his hair with another towel and when he sees me, he jumps. He literally jumps like he's seen a ghost and he says, Emily, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in Atlanta. And I say, my flight got canceled. I came home. And then I just look at him and I say, who is Melissa? And his face goes white. His face goes completely white. And he says, what? And I say, there's a woman in our guest bedroom closet. She says her name is Melissa. And your cousin. And he doesn't say anything. He just stands there frozen. And I say, is she your cousin Derek? Is that your cousin hiding in my closet? And he says, yes. Yes, she's my cousin. She needed a place to stay. She's taking classes here. I told her she could stay here while you were gone. I was going to tell you, but I forgot. And I say, okay, so why is she hiding in the closet? Why is her bra on my kitchen floor? Why is it warm, Derek? Why is her bra still warm? And he says, I don't know, maybe. Cooper brought it from the laundry. Maybe it was in the dirty clothes. And I say, nah, no, Derek, it's not dirty. It's clean. It smells like perfume. It was just on her body. And he says, okay, look, I can explain. And I say, then explain. Explain to me why your cousin is hiding half naked in my closet while you take a shower in the middle of the day when you're supposed to be at work. Sorry guys, I just need to pause for a second because I'm getting so angry remembering this. I'm getting so mad at how stupid he thought I was. Like, did he really think I was going to believe that story? Okay, I'm good. Let me keep going. So, Derek is standing there trying to come up with something to say, and I can see his brain working. I can see him trying to figure out what lie to tell me. And finally he says, okay, you're right. She's not my cousin. And I say, no shit, she's not your cousin. So, who is she? And he says, she's a friend. She's just a friend. Her name is Melissa, and she needed a place to stay. And I said she could crash here for a couple days. That's all. I swear that's all it is. And I say, Derek, I'm not an idiot. Friends don't hide half naked in closet. Friends don't leave their brass lying around. What's really going on? And he says, nothing. Nothing's going on. You're overreacting. You're being crazy. And that word crazy, it just sets me off. I'm like I'm bae. NG crazy. I come home early and find another woman in my house, and I'm the one who's crazy. And he says, look, you're misunderstanding the situation. Nothing happened. Nothing is happening. Melissa's going through a tough time, and I'm helping her out. That's all. And I say, then why didn't you tell me about her? Why did you wait until I was supposed to be out of town to have her stay here? And he doesn't have an answer for that. He just stands there looking at the floor, and I say, I want to talk to her. I want to hear her side of this. And I turn around and I go back to the guest bedroom, and Melissa is still sitting on the closet floor. She found her shirt and put it on. It's that pink shirt I saw earlier. And I say, okay, Melissa, tell me the truth. What's going on between you and Derek? And she looks at me with these big eyes and she says, we're together. We've been together for 6 months. And the world just stops. Everything just stops. And I can't breathe. And I say, what? And she says, we're in a relationship. He told me you guys broke up. He told me the engagement was off. He said you were just living together until the lease was up and then you were moving out. He said you were already seeing someone else. And I just start laughing. I actually start laughing because this is so insane. This is so completely insane. And I say, no, we didn't break up. We're engaged. We're getting married in 2 months. The wedding is planned. Everything is booked. And I hold up my hand and I show H. My ring. See this? This is my engagement ring. He proposed to me a year ago. We're still together. We've been together this whole time. And her face just crumbles. She looks like she's going to be sick and she says, oh my God, I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know. He showed me pictures of you guys together, but he said they were old. He said you were just friends now. And I say, how did you meet him? And she says, at a bar. We met at a bar in Raleigh 6 months ago. I was visiting my END, and we went out, and Derek was there. He said he was in town for work. We started talking, and we hit it off, and we exchanged numbers, and we started texting and calling, and then we started seeing each other. He would drive to Raleigh to see me, or I would drive here, and he said he lived alone. He showed me this house and said it was his house. He never mentioned you. I never knew you existed until right now. And I'm like, oh my God, this has been going on for 6 months. 6 months. And I had no idea. and Derek is standing in the doorway now. He put on some clothes, jeans, and a t-shirt, and he's just watching us, and I turn to him and I say, "Is this true? Have you been seeing her for 6 months?" And he doesn't say anything. He just looks at the floor, and I say, "Answer me, Derek." And he says, "Yes, okay. Yes, I've been seeing her." But it didn't mean anything. It was just something that happened. I don't love her. I love you. I want to marry you. And Melissa makes tea. His sound, this like hurt sound. And she says, "You told me you loved me. You said I was the best thing that ever happened to you." And Derek says, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Melissa, but that's not true." And she starts crying again. And I'm just standing there watching this whole thing unfold. And I'm thinking, is this real? Is this actually my life right now? Am I really watching my fiancé tell his girlfriend that he doesn't love her while I'm standing right here? And then Melissa says, "You're an asshole. You're a lying asshole." And she grabs her stuff, her shoes, and her bag. And she pushes past Derek and runs downstairs, and I hear the front door slam, and she's gone. She's just gone. And now it's just me and Derek standing there, and I say, "How could you? How could you do this to me?" And he says, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Emily. It was a mistake. It never should have happened. Please forgive me. We can work through this." And I say, "Work through this? You've been cheating on me for 6 months. 6 months, Derek." And he says, I know, and I'm sorry. But we can fix this. We can go to therapy. We can postpone the wedding, whatever you need. Just please don't leave me." And I say, "Are you serious right now? You think I'm going to stay with you after this?" And he says, Yes, because we have a life together. We have this house. We have Cooper. We have a wedding planned. Everyone is expecting us to get married. Your aunt is coming from France. My parents are so excited. We can't just throw it all away. And I say, "You threw it away, Derek. You threw it away when you started seeing her." And he says, "It wasn't like that. I wasn't planning to cheat. It just happened. I met her, and we had a connection, and I thought, why not? I thought I could have both. I could have you and her, and no one would know." And I say, "Well, now I know. Now I know exactly who you are. You're a liar. You're a cheater. You're disgusting." And he says, "Don't say that. Don't call me disgusting. I made a mistake. People make mistakes." And I say, "This wasn't a mistake. Mistakes happen once. You've been lying to me for 6 months. You brought another woman into our house, into our bed probably. Did you sleep with her in our bed, Derek? Did you have sex with her in the bed where I sleep?" And he doesn't answer, and I say, "Oh my God, you did. You did, didn't you?" And he says, "A couple times." It was only a couple times. Most of the time we went to hotels or I went to her place. But yeah, sometimes when you worked late or away and you went to visit your mom, she would come over and we would be together here. And I feel like I'm going to throw up. I actually feel sick. My stomach is turning, and I run to the bathroom and I lean over the toilet, but nothing comes out. I just dry heave for a minute while Derek stands in the doorway saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I say, Get out of this house right now." And he says, "What?" And I say, "Leave. I want you to leave. This is over. We're done." And he says, "Emily, please, let's talk about this." And I say, "There's nothing to talk about. We're done. The engagement is off. Get your stuff and get out." And he says, "Where am I supposed to go?" And I say, "I don't care. Go to a hotel. Go to your parents' house. Go to hell. I don't care. Just get out of my sight." And he just stands there for another minute, and then finally he goes to our bedroom and he starts packing a bag. He throws some clothes in a duffel bag, grabs his toothbrush, his phone charger, and he walks downstairs and he says, "I'll come back tomorrow to get the rest of my stuff. We need to talk about the house and the dog and all our stuff." And I say, "Fine, but you're not getting Cooper. Cooper stays with me." And he says, "We can discuss that later." And I say, "No, there's nothing to discuss. Cooper is mine. He brought me the evidence. He's the one who saved me from marrying a cheater. He's staying with me. And Derek just shakes his head and walks out the front door, and I hear his car start and drive away. And then it's just me and Cooper standing in the living room, and Cooper comes over and puts his head on my lap, and I just sit there on the floor and cry. I cried for like an hour straight. I cried for the relationship I thought I had. I cried for the wedding that's not going to happen. I cried for how stupid I was to not see this coming. I cried for everything. Z, before we had kids, before our lives got even more tangled together, Cooper saved me. My dog literally saved my life. And I didn't even realize it until later. So that night after Derek left, I called my mom. I told her everything. She was shocked. She couldn't believe it. She liked Derek. She thought he was a good guy. And she just kept saying, oh honey, I'm so sorry. And I said, Mom, what do I do? We have a wedding in 2 months. We have 200 people invited. We have deposits on everything. And she said, don't worry about that right now. Just worry about taking care of yourself. We'll figure out the rest later. And then I called my best friend. And Rachel went and told her, and she was furious. She was like, I never liked him. I always thought there was something off about him. And I was like, really? You never said anything? And she said, well, yeah, because you seemed happy and I didn't want to ruin it, but I always got a weird vibe from him. And I said, okay, well, you were right. And she came over that night. She brought wine and ice cream, and we sat on my couch with Cooper and just talked for hours. She helped me start going through what I need. To do, call the venue, call the photographer, cancel everything. And I just felt so embarrassed. I felt so humiliated. Like everyone was going to know that my fiancé cheated on me and I wasn't enough for him and I couldn't keep my man, and all these awful thoughts were going through my head. But Rachel said, no, this is not on you. This is on him. He's the one who messed up. He's the one who should be embarrassed. You did nothing wrong. And I said, I know, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels licked. I failed. And she said, you didn't fail. He failed you. There's a difference. If you're listening to this and you've ever been through something similar, drop a comment below. Tell me where you're from. Tell me your story if you want to share it, because I know I'm not the only one. I know there's so many women out there who've been betrayed by men they trusted, by men they loved, and it helps to know we're not alone. It helps to know that other people understand what this feels like. So please comment. Please let me know you're out there. The next few days were horrible. I had to start making calls. I had to tell people the wedding was off. I called the venue and they said they couldn't refund the deposit because it was less than 60 days before the wedding. So I lost $3,000 right there. I called the photographer and she was really nice about it. She said she was sorry and she would refund half the deposit. So I got back $1,500 out of the $3,000 I paid her. I called the caterer and they said no refunds. So that was another $2,000 gone. I called the DJ and he refunded everything because he's a good guy and he felt bad for me. Thank God for that at least. And then I had to call all the guests. I had to call people and say, hey, the wedding's off. Derek and I broke up. Don't come in May. And everyone was so shocked. Everyone kept asking what happened, and I didn't want to tell them at first, but then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to protect him. I'm not going to lie for him. So I started telling people the truth. I said he cheated on me. He was seeing someone else for 6 months. I caught them together, and people were horrified. They couldn't believe it. Derek's own family was horrified. His mom called me crying. She said she was so sorry. She had no idea. She raised him better than that. And I said, it's not your fault. It's his fault. And she said, do you want me to talk to him? Do you want me to try to fix this? And I said, no, there's nothing to fix. It's over. And she said, okay, I understand. I'm so sorry this happened to you. You deserved better. And that actually made me feel a little better, knowing that even his own mother was on my side. My aunt from France called me. She was devastated. She said she already bought her plane ticket. She was so excited to come to the wedding. And I said, I'm so sorry. I'll pay you back for the ticket. And she said, no, don't worry about the money. I'm just sad for you. I'm sad this happened. Are you okay? And I said, I will be okay. I'm not okay right now, but I will be. And she said, good, you're a strong woman. You'll get through this. And I said, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And through all of this, through all the phone calls and the cancellations and the crying and the anger, Cooper was there. He was right by my side the whole time. He would lay his head on my lap while I was on the phone. He would follow me from room to room. He seemed to know I was sad and he was trying to comfort me. And I would look at him and think, you saved me. You brought me that bra. You exposed everything. If you hadn't done that, I might have married Derek. I might have spent years with H. And before finding out the truth. But because of you, I found out now. I found out in time. And I'm so grateful to you. And I would just hug him and cry into his fur, and he would let me. He would just sit there and let me hug him as long as I needed to. Derek came back a few days later to get his stuff. I wasn't there. I made sure I wasn't there. I went to my mom's house for the day and let him come get his things. He took his clothes, his computer, some furniture that was his, but he left most of the stuff because he said he didn't have room for it wherever he was staying. And when I came home that night, the house felt so empty, so sad, like all the life had been sucked out of it. And I sat on the couch with Cooper and I said, what am I going to eat? Oh, dude boy, what am I going to do? And he just looked at me with those big brown eyes and wagged his tail. And I thought, okay, I'm going to be okay. I have Cooper. I have my family. I have my friends. I don't need Derek. I don't need a man who lies and cheats and treats me like I'm stupid. But here's where it gets even worse. Here's where I found out just how deep the betrayal went. About a week after everything happened, I got a call from Melissa. Yes, the other woman called me. I don't know how she got my number. Maybe Derek gave it to her, or maybe she found it somehow. But she called me, and at first I didn't want to answer. I saw a number I didn't recognize, and I almost let it go to voicemail, but something told me to pick up. So I did. And she said, hi, Emily, it's Melissa. And I said, ID, what do you want? And she said, I want to apologize. I want to tell you I'm sorry. I had no idea about you. I swear I didn't know. And I said, okay, apology accepted. Is that all? And she said, no. There's something else you need to know. And I said, what? And she said, I wasn't the only one. There were other women. Derek was seeing other women besides me. And my heart just dropped. I was like, what do you mean, other women? And she said, after I left your house that day, I was so mad. I was so hurt. So I went through Derek's phone. I had his password because he gave it to me. He said he trusted me and wanted me to be able to look at his phone anytime. And I went through it and I found messages with at least 2 other women, maybe more. He was talking to them the same way he talked to me, telling them he loved them, making plans to see them, sending them pictures. And I said, oh my God. And she said, yeah, so it wasn't just me. He was cheating on you with multiple people. And I said, do you know, who these women are? And she said one of them is named Brittany, and she works with Derek at Summit Tech Solutions. She's his co-worker. And the other one, I don't know her name, but she lives in Atlanta, and he would visit her when he went there for work trips. And I just felt sick all over again. I felt like I was going to throw up. This wasn't just one affair. This was a pattern. This was who Derek was. He was a serial cheater. He was someone who couldn't be faithful to anyone. And I said, thank you for telling me. And Melissa said, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry for my part in this. I should have asked more questions. I should have been smarter. And I said, it's not your fault. He lied to both of us. And she said, yeah, he did. And then we just hung up and I sat there staring at the wall thinking about how I dodged a bullet. How I could have married this man and spent my whole life wondering where he was, who he was with, if he was being faithful. And I thanked God and I thanked Cooper again for saving me from that life. I shouldn't even speak like this. Maybe the platform doesn't like this vulgar language. But this co-worker, Brittany, was very vulgar. She was very low. That's the truth. There's no other way to say it. Because I looked her up on social media, I found her on Instagram and Facebook, and she had to have known Derek was engaged. There are pictures of Derek and me together all over his social media, pictures of us at our engagement party, pictures of me wearing my ring, and she was liking THE's pictures. She was commenting on them saying things like, "You guys are so cute, congratulations." And the whole time she was sleeping with him, the whole time she was having an affair with my fiancé. And that takes a special kind of person, a special kind of low. And I wanted to confront her. I wanted to message her and tell her I knew everything. But Rachel talked me out of it. She said, "Don't waste your energy on her. She's not worth it. Just block her and move on." So that's what I did. I blocked her on everything, and I tried to forget she existed. And then there was the woman in Atlanta. I never found out who she was. I never got a name or anything. But knowing that Derek would go on these business trips and see her, knowing that he was building these whole separate lives with these women while I was at home planning our wedding, it made me feel like the biggest fool. It made me feel like everyone must have known except me. Like people were laughing at me behind my back. But my therapist, yes, I started seeing a therapist after all this. Why, therapist said that's not true. Most people don't know these things are happening. Cheaters are good at hiding it. That's why they get away with it for so long. And you can't blame yourself for trusting someone you loved. Trust is normal in a relationship. It's the betrayal that's wrong, not the trust. And that helped. Hearing that helped me start to forgive myself for not seeing the signs, for not knowing what was going on. I truly believe God put certain people and animals in our lives for a reason, and Cooper came into my life exactly when I needed him. He exposed the truth at exactly the right time, before I married Derek, before we had kids, before it got even more complicated. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that I found out when I did, even though it was painful, even though it hurt like hell. It was better to know than to live in ignorance. So what happened after that? What happened with the house and the dog and all the logistics of breaking up with someone you were supposed to marry? Well, Derek wanted to sell the house. We bought it together, so technically we both owned it, but I didn't want to sell. I loved that house. I loved the neighborhood, so I offered to buy him out. I got a loan and paid him for his half, and the house became mine, all mine, and that felt good. That felt like a fresh start, and Cooper stayed with me, obvious. Sly. Derek didn't even fight me on that. He said, "Fine, keep the dog. I don't have time for a dog anyway." And I thought, yeah, that's because you're too busy juggling multiple women. But I didn't say that out loud. I just said, okay, great. And we signed papers, and it was done. The house was mine, Cooper was mine, and Derek was out of my life. I heard through mutual friends that Derek and Melissa didn't stay together. Shocker. She dumped him after she found out about all the other women, and then I heard he started dating Brittany, the co-worker. And I thought, wow, he really doesn't waste any time, does he? But I didn't care anymore. I was done caring about what Derek did or who he was with. I was focused on myself, on healing, on moving forward. I quit my job at Morrison Law Group because I needed a fresh start. I needed to get out of Charlotte and away from all the memories. So I applied for jobs in other cities, and I got an offer in Denver, Colorado. It was a paralegal position at a different law firm called Westfield Law Group. Better pay, better benefits. And it was far away from North Carolina, far away from Derek and everything that happened. So I took it. I packed up my stuff. I loaded Cooper into my car, and we drove across the sea. Elm Tree to start over in Denver. And it was the best decision I ever made. Denver is beautiful, the people are nice, my job is great, and I feel like I can breathe again. I feel like I can be myself again without the weight of that relationship holding me down. Cooper loves Denver too. We go hiking on the weekends. We go to dog parks. He's made so many dog friends, and he's still the same sweet, loving dog he's always been. He still brings me things. He brought me my slippers the other day, and I laughed and said, "Good boy, thank you. You always know what I need, don't you?" And he just wagged his tail and licked my face, and I thought, yes, you do know what I need. You knew I needed to see the truth about Derek, and you showed me, you saved me, and I'm revert grateful. It's been about a year and a half since everything happened. It's November 2025 now, and I'm 33 years old. I'm single, I'm happy, I'm healing. I go on dates sometimes, but I'm not in a hurry to be in a relationship. I'm enjoying my independence. I'm enjoying my life with Cooper. And I've learned that I don't need a man to be complete. I don't need a partner to validate me. I'm enough on my own. Me and my dog are enough. And maybe someday I'll meet someone who deserves my trust. Someone who won't i.e. and cheat and betray me. But if I don't, that's okay too. I'm okay with being alone. I'd rather be alone than be with someone like Derek ever again. If your gut is telling you something's wrong, listen to it. And if your pet is acting strange, pay attention. Animals know things we don't. They sense things we can't see. Cooper knew something was wrong. He knew there was another woman in our house, and he brought me the evidence. He didn't know he was exposing an affair, but he did. And I believe that was meant to happen. I believe Cooper was meant to be my hero that day. So, to anyone listening who's going through something similar, anyone who's been cheated on or betrayed by someone they loved, I want you to know you're going to be okay. It doesn't feel like it right now. It feels like your world is ending, but it's not ending. It's just changing. And sometimes change is exactly what we need, even when it hurts, even when it's hard, because staying with someone who doesn't respect you, someone who lies and cheats and takes you for granted, that's worse than being alone. That's worse than starting over. So if you need to leave, leave. If you need to start fresh, start fresh. You deserve better. You deserve someone who loves you and only you. Someone who's honest and faithful and treats you with respect. And if you don't have that right now, then walk away. Walk away and don't look back. Because there's something better waiting for you. I promise there is. Cooper is laying next to me right now as I record this. He's such a good boy. He's my best friend, my protector, my hero, and I love him so much. I don't know what I would have done without him. He saved my life without even knowing it. He's just a dog doing dog things, bringing me random stuff he finds. But that one thing he brought me changed everything. It set me free. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget the day my golden retriever brought me a pink bra and exposed the truth about T. He-Man I was going to marry. It was the worst day and the best day all at once. And I'm so glad it happened. I'm so glad Cooper was there to show me what I needed to see before it was too late. The Lord works in mysterious ways, even through our pets. And I believe Cooper was put in my life for a reason, to save me, to protect me, to show me the truth when I needed to see it. And I'm forever grateful to him, forever grateful to that sweet, goofy, loving golden retriever who just wanted to bring me a present but ended up giving me the greatest gift of all. The gift of freedom, the gift of truth, the gift of a second chance at happiness. And I wouldn't trade that for anything, not for a thing in the world. Comment below if your dog or cat or any pet ever found something that changed your life. I want to hear your stories. I want to know I'm not the only one whose pet exposed the cheater, because I know there are more stories out there. I know there are more animals who've saved their owners without knowing it, so please share. Please tell me where you're from and what happened. Let's build a community here. Let's support each other, because we all deserve love and honesty and respect. And if a pet see and help us see when we're not getting those things, then thank God for pets. Thank God for animals who love us unconditionally and protect us even when they don't understand why. Thank you, Cooper. Thank you for being my hero. Thank you for saving me. I love you, buddy. I love you so much.